Hello and welcome to Mostly Sapphic Books, where I am on a mission to read every single book about lesbians. Today I read Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. This is a YA romance novel. I can sum this up real easy, guys. This is about two groups of friends. They go to a music festival. Girl meets girl. They fall in love at the festival over the course of the couple of days here. Obviously there's more going on, but it's more in like these people's personal lives. And then there's some quests at the campgrounds that I guess I'll talk about a little bit. But that's the premise. They fall in love at a festival. One of these girls is Olivia. She's like, it feels mean to call her a slut. That's what everyone thinks of her. She's like the outgoing sort of get around kind of girl. She dates around a lot. She falls in love very easily, and she always falls to the wrong person, and she always gets heartbroken. And that's like kind of her signature. She's sort of very insecure about herself despite her outgoingness. She always feels like she's putting on a facade to like give people what they want to see out of her, like be this person that attracts everybody, that everybody likes. She's not a slut, she's an insecure teenager, okay? But she got into a predicament with her ex-boyfriend, she's bisexual, where her ex-boyfriend pressured her into sending risque photos of herself, and then he shared them all over social media. And so everyone saw this and thinks she's a slut. And she went to like the principal of the school, but they haven't really done a whole lot. They're going to investigate him, but they keep like pushing the date away because he is a big basketball player and everyone loves him, and he's gonna go to college for basketball and then be a big basketball star. He's the golden boy, and so no one actually wants this to happen to him. And soon after this festival ends, Olivia is going to go back to school and like do this hearing where they're going to decide if he, gets kicked out of school and all that jazz. And she's getting a lot of like peer pressure from her classmates from the school to like not speak. And so she's thinking at the start of the book that she's just gonna like let it be, whatever, this guy can get away with it. She doesn't want any more trouble. Obviously by the end of the book she's going to come around and be like, no, he shouldn't have done that, and he needs to face the consequences of his actions. The other girl is Tony. Her trauma is that her dad has recently died. Her dad was like a music manager. He worked with bands and he was gone a lot of the year. But she did really like him, and she likes music, but she's sort of like private about it. She doesn't really want to be like a big famous singer. But she does really love music, and that's why she's at this festival. She wants to sign up for like this talent competition so that she can, like win this competition, and then she gets to be on stage with one of her favorite bands and do a song with them, and then maybe get recognized, and maybe she will be in the music industry. But since her dad died, she's kind of like reserved and standoffish, and then she meets the outgoing girl, and it's a good little match. These two bump into each other because Olivia's trying to set up her tent, and she's a girl who's never set up a tent before, and Tony has been to this festival a million times and like knows her whole way around the festival, and like is gonna help this girl set up her tent, which is kind of convenient because we learn like pretty soon after that Tony is like pretty standoffish, and like people are kind of scared to talk to her. She's sort of intimidating because she projects this kind of affronting air about her, and so it kind of almost seems out of character for her to just like help this random girl, but she is a pretty girl. That plays a part. So they meet there, and then Olivia has this thing where she wants to do this scavenger hunt. There's like these golden apples. The festival is called Farmland. There's like golden apples hidden around the whole campsite, festival site. And if someone like finds all of those, then they win a car. And she wants to win a car because she feels like she's like a burden to her family. And her best friend who came with her, I'll talk about her more in a minute. She wants her own car, and so she needs Tony's help to like know the festival grounds and like read all these hints. They're seeing like hints and like pictures of where the apple is hidden, and Tony knows where everything is because she's been here a billion times. So they team up in that way, and then Tony, who wants to enter the song contest, they sort of arrive a little bit late, and all the entry spots for the solo artists are taken. So she has to sign up as a duo, and Olivia did like some singing and like show choir or something. She's like, I'll help you, whatever. So they sign up as a duo, and they have to do the scavenger hunt together, and then they fall in love. So Olivia has come here with her best friend, Amani. Amani is the exact opposite of Olivia. Olivia is very outgoing and spontaneous and fun, and Amani is a stuck-up curmudgeon. She's kind of a bad friend. I kind of liked her. I'm kind of a stuck-up curmudgeon. She didn't really want to be here, but her favorite band is playing, and they're about to like quit. And so it's like the last time she's ever gonna see them, and also she's secretly in love with Olivia, which I didn't see coming. That's like a spoiler reveal towards the end of the book. Didn't see coming, but it kind of worked. But for most of the book, I didn't like them as a friendship or a romantic relationship. They don't get together. Olivia gets with Tony. But they are not compatible at all. They're absolutely at odds. They're kind of bitchy to each other. They're both like really flawed teenagers, and you feel that. But you sympathize with them. You don't hate them. But like they're both definitely in the wrong sometimes, and also in the right sometimes. Like they're two extremes on the end of the spectrum, where they should probably compromise a little bit in the middle. But I like Damani, even though she's being too much of a bitch here, like all the time. But like, I liked her because I'm the grumpy curmudgeon friend who does not want to go to a music festival. I hate live music. That's a different rant. Live music is overrated. Every single concert venue is the absolute worst place to hold a concert. It's fucking a bajillion degrees. No one wants to sit in the summer sun or stand in the summer sun and listen to fucking music. And the bands aren't even getting paid and they're touring, and it's so hard for the bands and it's so hard for the audience, and absolutely no one's having a good time except for all the people who are having a good time. I'm aware that's an unpopular opinion. But also, every single music venue is fucking garbage. Every single one of them. All of them. The only comfortable concert I've ever been to was Avril Lavigne's Mall Tour in 2004, where she played in an air-conditioned mall at like 2 p.m. Concerts should also not be at night. I don't want to be in a hot building surrounded by drunk people at night. I want to be in the mall at 2 p.m. And I want Avril Lavigne to get paid properly. Avril Lavigne also deserves air conditioning, by the way. Anyway, different video. These people like live music, except for Amani, who's a bitch, but I liked her. And again, these two were not compatible, and they were pretty toxic for each other, and I hope that they don't stay friends. By the end, they kind of reconcile a friendship and, like, recognize their importance to each other, but, like, I hope they go to college and never speak again. They weren't particularly good for each other. I think they could both find better friends that are more suited to them. The crush thing almost kind of works, actually. Because, I don't know, it's not a good crush. It doesn't lead anywhere. And so I kind of buy that Amani, who has nothing in common with Olivia, like, still ended up falling for this pretty girl. And then even when, you know, she's realizing that they don't have these things in common, it's just like she fell for the wrong person. That's kind of believable. And sort of refreshing in a way, in these romance novels where, like, everything just magically works out all the time, and you know straight from the get-go that all these couples are gonna get together and be happy. It's kind of interesting to see a very toxic, not good for each other relationship. I guess there's a lot of those in romance novels, actually. Usually it's like the ex, you know? They start a book off dating someone and then they get with someone else, but whatever. I was sort of surprised by that cross revelation. But it kind of worked, in hindsight. And I think that worked because of the emotional stakes of these characters. Like, these feel like real people. They feel really fleshed out. I feel like this author cared about this book, which sounds weird to say, but I think a lot of books are sort of cookie-cutter, formulaic, you know, you just hit the plot beats and go on, but I think this author really cared about getting into the emotional weight of these characters and, like, doing them justice in a way. I thought this was, like, deeper than your average YA romance novel. I also like the crush revelation because for a lot of this book, Olivia is trying to hook Amani up with Tony's best friend, Peter. He's they're friends. He's kind of infantilized almost, in a way. He's, like, sort of a dorky guy. And as soon as Olivia meets him, she's like, precious cinnamon roll. I love him. I will protect him. And I'm like, I don't... It felt a little infantilizing to this dude, but I guess he's the dorky sidekick dude. And he starts talking to Amani, and they seem to not hate each other. And since Amani's such a bitch, Olivia's like, oh, they must be in love, because Amani didn't immediately hate him. And so she spends most of the book trying to hook them up. And then Amani's like, I don't even like that guy. And the whole book, you're like, they have no chemistry. And I thought it was just gonna be bad writing. Like, it's just a foregone conclusion that the friends also end up together. And then the friends, not scissor. No one scissors in this book. There's not any time. They share some tents, but it's not sexy. They're kids. Anyway, I just took it as a foregone conclusion that they would end up together, even though they don't have chemistry because it's a romance novel. My cats also don't have chemistry. They're hissing at each other. Sorry. But then we got the revelation that Amani was like, I don't even like that guy. I'm gay. I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you for years. And Olivia's like, oh, oops. And then you kind of see where, like, Olivia's flaws come in. Like, she just assumed all of this. She never noticed Amani's crush, even though she's, like, obsessed with romance. And Amani's doing all these things to, like, help her every time she gets her heart broken. And, you know, she's not a very good friend either. And she's sort of taking advantage of Amani's kindness in a lot of ways. And Amani's, like, I guess her best friend. She doesn't really talk about any other friends. So she's, like, really leaning on Amani, maybe unhealthily. So you can see how these two are just not good for each other. I hope they find other friends. I hope they, you know, part ways amicably for college and then never speak again. I think that'd be good for them. One other thing that surprised me about this book, which absolutely shouldn't have, trigger warning for gun violence. Someone fires a shot at this festival. It's not gory, it's not, like, terrible. Apparently someone got into, like, a personal altercation, and, like, one gunshot went off. And I guess we don't even learn, like, the fate of that person. Oh well. But this gunshot throws everything out of whack. It comes right after a happy moment. And then, like, is the festival gonna get canceled? They're all, like, traumatized. Tony's dad was shot. He was killed, and so she's absolutely having flashbacks to that, and it's not good. And again, this was clearly foreshadowed, so I don't know why I was so surprised when this happened. I guess just because the book isn't, like, super dark in tone, and even the shooting part's not super dark. But it's definitely foreshadowed. Amani, the grouchy, grumpy, irresponsible one who I fucked with, gets to the campsite and is, like, talking like, oh, this would be a great place for a shooting, not very safe. And I'm like, you're right, Amani. I'm that person. Every time I go out to, like, a big event, like, every 4th of July, I'm like, this is a great place to shoot a bunch of people. Hope I make it. Then we have Tony's dad getting shot, and then even when they're talking about homophobia, they're still talking about, like, the Pulse shooting was just a few years ago. There's still a lot of homophobic people, so they keep referencing shootings. And then I'm like, wow, there's a shooting in this? I can't believe it. So trigger warnings for that. I kind of like that it went there. Again, that sort of brings more emotional depth to this. And, like, we really see, like, the trauma of these characters, especially Tony. Like, the memory of her dad being shot. Like, she watched her dad die. That's fucked up. So this wasn't just, like, an easy breezy, superfluous, surface level garbage kind of junk food romance novel, you know what I mean? It had some oomph, it had some character development and, like, insight and depth that I appreciated. I thought this was a pretty good YA novel. I gave it, like, 4 stars. I didn't really have a lot of problems with it. Just, like, not my favorite book of all time. I don't know that I'd necessarily go out of my way to reread this anytime soon, but it's pretty good. I liked it for a YA book. Can we talk about the cover? Am I nuts, or is this cover fucked up? This doesn't look right. Something's... It's giving uncanny. I don't know anything about, like, photography or painting or graphic design. I can't even tell if this is a painting or, like, photos or if it's, like, a photo edited to kind of look painterly like. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how this is made. I don't know who the artist is or what they were trying to do. So I can't, like, technically explain what I think is wrong with this picture, but I'm gonna, like, try to express what I think is wrong with this picture to me. I think it's a lighting issue. If we look at where the light source is, it's directly on Olivia's forehead. Olivia's the short one, and then Tony's the tall one with the hat. It's directly on Olivia's forehead, but then just off to the side is Tony's, like, whole neck is cloaked in shadow, and I don't know if that makes sense. It's, like, so dark next to, like, so bright, and I don't know if it's just their skin tone difference that's throwing me off or something, but it looks weird. I think the shadow might be there to, like, hide the Photoshop job of Tony's face, like, on Tony's body. I don't know how this picture was created. Again, I can't tell if this is a photograph or a drawing. I think it's a photograph that's kind of, like, stylized. Like, the background is, like, sort of painterly. I don't know what's going on. But the lighting looks fucked up, and because of that, low-key, this looks like a horror novel cover sometimes. I always see this book on lists, and when it's on a list, it's like one tiny thumbnail amongst a whole slew of, you know, other tiny thumbnails, and I'm like, is that a horror novel? And I think it's just because there's so much, like, shadow around Tony that the first thing you notice is her smile, those bright white teeth, and I'm like, is that, like, a creepy shadow monster? And, like, she's got that girl, and it's like, oh, I just have her in a hug. Don't pay attention to the fact that my arm's around her fucking neck. If you look at this close up, it looks normal. Like, if you zoom in on their faces, that's just 2 girls. And Tony doesn't look scary. That's just a pretty girl. but if you zoom out, it's like a shadow teeth monster. I don't know. Am I nuts? I did at one point in time think this was a horror novel. Also, again, because I can't tell if it's like a photograph or painting, it kind of looks like photographs, but I don't know. Olivia's head's real big. Am I nuts? Maybe she just has a big head. But it almost feels like these are two different photos of two different people that have been like spliced together, photoshopped together. But Olivia was closer to the camera than Tony was, like when the pictures were taken. And so Olivia just looked bigger, like proportionally. It looks off just a little bit, just enough that you notice it, and it gives it that uncanny feel, or not. Am I crazy? And also, if you're distance, like, Tony's smile was so bright and perfect that it looks photoshopped on. Again, not if it's close up, normal looking face, but from a distance, it's like that's a weirdly white, photoshopped on fake smile on this shadow monster. And it feels kind of fucked up to say that because she just has a dark skin tone, maybe. But I do think there's something weird about the lighting. Am I crazy? And also the, like, two pictures spliced together theory. Like, this kind of looks like a collage almost. But not enough that it's supposed to look like a collage. Like, I think I'm supposed to buy that this is just a normal picture of two friends, two gal pals, just hugging it out, smiling for the camera. Totally normal. Nothing weird here, guys. But it does look like, I don't know, like two pictures cropped together. It's giving, like, someone kidnapped these two girls and then took pictures of them and spliced the pictures together, and then, like, cut out magazine photo smiles and then put them on their face and made it look like they're really happy. It's like, and then sent it to the police. And we're like, look at us, the girls, yeah, I kidnapped them, but we're having a great time. They love being kidnapped. They're friends now. And am I crazy? I might be crazy, but this cover gives me Uncanny Valley for some reason. I don't know. That might be me. That's not relevant to the content of the book, but I don't know. That might be a me issue. Let me know, please. Am I crazy? You can tell me if I'm crazy. It's okay. I can accept that. But every single time I see this picture somewhere, I'm like, it's not right. Something's wrong. Oh, that's it. Good book. Weird looking cover. A little bit, just to me. Probably to no one else. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else say that. I mean, it's literally just a picture of two women hugging. Like, if you zoom in, it's just a women with two picture hugging. If you pick this up off the library shelf, you'd just be like, that's a painting of two women hugging. What's the problem? But I don't know. From a distance, it looks weird. I think it's a shadow thing. Oh, but it's a pretty good book. If you like YA, little romances, I think you should read it. And I really like books that take place in a short amount of time. This is just like this 2 to 3 day festival. So everything's jam-packed in there. Maybe one complaint, you could argue this sort of goes against Olivia's character growth to have this whole book, this whole romance be like 2 days long. Because her whole thing is that she falls in love. You know, she falls head over heels for these people and then she gets her heart broken. And she keeps falling for the wrong people. And every single time she's like, no, this is the one, this is different, this is special. And then it never is. And even Amani, her friend, is like, bitch, you say this every fucking time. As soon as we go to this festival, I know you're gonna find someone, and you're gonna fuck off and leave me alone and do your little whirlwind romance thing, and you're gonna get your heart broken again. And then she goes to the festival and immediately meets someone, and it's like, no, but it's different this time. And it is, like, technically, in the world of the book, these two really do like each other, and they aren't pressuring each other, and they like each other for each other. But she does fall in love in 2 days. So I don't know, like, how much that hinders her character growth. You could argue a little bit. And, like, we, the reader, are in her head, and we can see that maybe this is special. Maybe, perhaps. But yeah, I can also see how all of her friends and family and the haters at her school are gonna be like, yeah, of course she fell in love again in 2 days. Yeah, that sounds just like her. Same old Olivia. Also, my other complaint with this, which was so minor and not even a complaint. This music festival is in Georgia, but both of these characters just so happen to be from Indiana. And they go to, like, rival high schools, so they're, like, from the same area of Indiana. And it's not crazy that you'd meet someone else from your state at a music festival out of state, because there's, like, tons and tons of people here. But, like, when they realize that they're both from Indiana, like, they don't even, like, make a big deal about it. I feel like if you met someone, like, from your town, or from, like, the town right next to you, in another state, you'd be like, oh my god, you're from Indiana too? That's crazy. What are the chances? They don't think it's that crazy. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. That's really fucking convenient for the plot and the romance going forward. But they're just kind of like, yeah, of course you're from Indiana. Everyone at this music festival is from Indiana. Oh, but that's it. The smallest critique in the world. But I like this book. Again, good book. Solid 4 stars. Almost bumped it up to like a 4.5. It was pretty good, especially for YA. So I'd recommend this one. Check it out if you want. Have a good day. Read a book. Good night.